Guessing we're on YouTube right about now. Good evening, everyone. Happy Thursday. We are about to bring on Helena and Claire, Snowlena and Claire Lego Mum. And Lewis is going to be here very soon. Hello, Helena. Hello, Claire. Lewis is going to be here soon. We were just talking about how he's strapping something on to a car. Let's start Instagram as well.
Okay.
It's checking connection. We are now live. G'day, folks. We are also live on YouTube, I believe. Maybe someone could check that for me, actually. Normally it's Helena checking for me, but she's live.
We are. I've got it open on my other screen.
Oh, awesome. My Wi-Fi is not great. So my phone is on mobile data and my laptop is just running Melon, and that's all.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
We're just bare bones till we work that out. It's been so long since I've had grief with internet. I just wouldn't even know where to start fixing it. I think Claire's about to join Instagram. That's all. Oh, there's Helena.
Yep, there you go. Hopefully I can figure this
Hello,
out.
Claire.
Again, hello.
Oh, the sound's coming out of my phone instead of my headphones.
My
Oh,
sound.
that's weird.
My sound. What the deuce?
I don't know.
Hello
Hey, Tamara.
again. This is not going well.
No, it's not my fault though.
No, it's entirely my fault.
Ah,
Or maybe it's Lewis's fault, seeing as he's not here yet.
yeah, let's blame
Too
Lewis.
busy strapping on.
Oh, it's working now.
Okay, good.
Better?
Don't
Nobody
touch
breathe. Nobody blink. Hey,
don't
Rowan.
touch anything.
Rowan kindly offered to join us tonight, but he's in a caravan with only one device, and we're
Ooh.
trying to go on both.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
And his dog, they're having a little adventure in the van to Bendigo.
Oh God,
yeah,
that sounds like my worst nightmare.
No, they love the
You're not-
outdoors.
g'day,
Hey,
Bilza.
Bilza.
You're not caravanning this weekend, Helena?
No, I'm not. I got a really good deal. I managed to use my Qantas points and get a hotel, so I only have to pay 97 cents for my accommodation.
Oh, that's great.
That is not
Mhm.
bad at all.
Yeah, I'm very excited.
So can you walk from where you're going to be, Helena?
I don't think so. But I'm pretty sure Rebecca's going to pick me up. Hello, Rebecca.
Oh,
best
cool.
friend.
Yeah, yeah.
If not, she is now.
Are you taking the space van with you?
Yes, I've got to work out how to get them into a
Suitcase?
something. Yeah, suitcase. Oh my God, my cat's.
We've just had Rowan tell us that the echo is happening.
I
Does anyone
can't hear
have
an echo.
sound in the room, or is it all in your ears?
Oh, maybe it's me. Hang on. That's
It's
better.
all in
Mine's
my
right
ears.
down. Is that better? I don't have. These are right down.
Sounds
Yeah,
right to
I've
me.
got
I don't
it
know.
all the
I've
way
kind of got an
down.
echo, like the laptop comes before the, you know,
The what?
because I've got this is
Before the-
the phone and this is the laptop.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I could hear
Double
Abigail.
Yeah.
Abigail, take your headphones out.
Take the headphones out.
She's
Cat.
got little human head. She's got little human ears on her head, like you. You've
Yeah.
got your cat ones. She's got little
Mhm.
human ones.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Has Claire got sound like just coming out of laptop speakers?
I can have. Mother, can you hear me on the laptop? Yeah.
I can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
The echo though is your sound coming out of your laptop speakers?
Yeah, it is.
That's what the echo is.
Well, was
We'll have to
okay
find
last week.
headphones some week or something. It was okay last week.
Here's the cat for anyone who's wondering.
Hi, Abigail.
I, when we logged on this evening, learnt a different name to Abigail for that cat. It was less
Yeah.
favourable.
It only had 4 letters in it.
Well, there was a 4 and then a 3.
Yeah.
We're 10 minutes in and we still haven't even mentioned the topic. This topic was
There's a
suggested by
topic?
David.
Oh, crap.
Yeah, it's right at the top of the screen using Lego
Where's
to
Dave?
Oh, yeah, look at
real
that.
life items. We're trying to stay on track here, kids. And David, if I recall correctly, recommended this last week. It's almost like he knew what was going to be on Lego Masters last night.
Yes, very
Mm.
coincidental. And wasn't it a great
And-
episode? Have you all caught up?
Yes.
I've watched about half of it.
It was so good.
I do know from previous years, though, a lot of the people who watch these streams who are overseas can't get the episodes yet, so they would prefer if we didn't talk about them. So if we don't go into too much detail, that's fine.
That's
Bill
what
says
I'm
no
saying.
echo on YouTube.
There
Feel
you
free to
go.
jump over to YouTube where there's no echo.
Spoiler alert, the episode is about that topic right there.
Yeah, well, surely you could say that
And it was
much.
brilliant. They were all brilliant. They were all so good.
Oh, there was
Yes.
one that was really, really, really good though.
Just one.
There was
Oh,
a
more
couple,
than
but
one.
there was one that was really good.
I don't know what it is now.
This-
What do you reckon? Just say it. What do you think? What do you think? What was the item rather than the,
The
team?
fan.
What do you like?
The fan.
The fan. You like the fan?
I was a fan of the fan.
fan of the fan.
Yeah, that's
So
I was a fan
far,
of the fan.
I mean, I'm only partway through. So far they've got the cage, and the cage looks awesome. And they're
Mm.
trying to get it spinning, and it keeps messing up the cage.
Yeah.
That's how far in I am.
Yeah, yeah.
The cool one
Yeah.
won. Yeah, I don't even know who won. I'm not really trying to avoid spoilers because that's not realistic. If I log into Instagram, I'm going to see spoilers.
Mm.
I'm just
You will.
gonna.
Okay.
I'm still gonna watch it. I
Yeah,
enjoy watching
yeah,
it. Jeez,
yeah.
like the builds this season are insanely good.
Oh my god, I know, right? It's that watching it this season, you think, oh, I had thought about maybe applying for Lego Masters one day, and then I was like, no.
It's the same thing.
No.
So intimidating. Like I'm not a Lego Grandmaster, that's for sure.
Yeah, no.
Far out.
Yeah.
Oh, Brick Cools. I'm
Brickles.
highlighting this one.
Mm,
Tom, your lights look good. Thank you.
there you
I'm
go.
super
Yeah.
happy with this space.
Very good.
Super happy. Oh, here's Lewis.
Hey.
Lewis, you're coming on. Hey.
Hey, sorry for the tardiness, ladies and gentlemen.
No, that's okay. We actually
How's the
haven't
strap
said
on?
the furthest I got
Apple
explaining
has
where
been
you were
going
was that you were
fantastic.
strapping something on.
Yes.
You're dealing with
Look,
your
put it this
strap-on.
way. I was trying to use rope to lash the pegboards I use for my display to the roof racks of the four-wheel drive, which wanted to do since we got the four-wheel drive, but haven't given it a run. I had about, I reckon, 25 meters of long rope, and I failed horribly. Like, I did a really bad job. And Loz came out being like, "How's it going?" Looked at it and went, "Oh, we should probably go to Bunnings and get straps."
I was
Yeah,
going to
don't
say,
get
did you
straps.
do a last minute run to Bunnings to get some like Oki straps and stuff?
Where are you
So I've
going?
gone-
Are you going to Illawarra tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah.
So getting everything packed in the car tonight so we can just leave at about 3 o'clock and head
Yeah.
off there.
Yeah,
Cool.
awesome.
Oh, there we go. Instagram's live as well. There we go.
Welcome, Lewis, on Instagram.
Beautiful.
Look at me when I'm chatting to you, says Todd on Instagram.
Funny
Oh,
story.
where's
Todd on
Tony now?
Instagram. So,
Like,
funny story. Last week we
Okay, you
talked
talk.
about how Todd and Yabs were going to be on the road, so they couldn't join in. Turns out they're both at home. They're not leaving till tomorrow.
Oh, you're
What a
joking.
stitch up.
Oh, well, I can
I
go.
still need
See
to
ya.
pack,
Bye,
Todd.
Mum.
I haven't packed yet.
What? Todd hasn't left yet.
No.
Tony?
But having said that, David has bowed out. He's not up to it tonight. And he's the
Too
most
famous.
reliable of us all. So it must be really serious.
Mm.
And so then I go, hey, Todd Yabs, you can jump on now. There's an extra spot. Nah, don't feel like it. Actually, Todd said he was going to the footy. What's he doing chatting on Instagram if he's going to the footy?
Maybe he's in the,
Mm.
And-
maybe he's getting in the lineup for a drink or something.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I've done that.
Maybe so.
I'm not-
Or maybe he's
I'm
in the
not sure. I'd
lineup for the
open an
loo.
Instagram live if I was at the footy. And Yabs, I think he's trying to finish his build, which is fair enough.
What
Hmm.
time is
That's
they
fair
leaving? Todd's coming from friggin' Adelaide.
I don't know. I think it's like 8 hours or something.
Hang on, let me check Google Maps for a second.
8 hours
Here
to
we go.
Bendigo. It sounds. It might be more. Oh
Reckon?
no, that's not too bad. I don't know, we'll see.
Just going to
Check the
check
maps.
Google Maps how long it is.
Is
to
Bendigo?
Bendigo.
It's kind of on the way to Melbourne, isn't it? Or is that Ballarat?
No,
Yeah.
it's more like Adelaide's side. Like if you're going to Melbourne, you'll go through Seymour. It's like
Yeah.
Bendigo's
Sorry,
off.
but when we were driving to Melbourne for Brickbench, every time we drove past the sign and it said Seymour, in my head I was just like, Seymour butts.
They must be watching those signs like hawks, just in case someone messes with them.
Seymour butts. Okay,
Tamara
apparently
says
it's
half
6
time.
hours. 6 hours and
Okay.
47 minutes from Adelaide to
Adelaide
That's
Central.
not
Bendigo.
too bad.
There you go.
Yeah, right.
So what time are you leaving, Toddy? When he's leaving?
He
Alright.
he said he was going to arrive at 4:30 at the hotel and then go to bump
Oh.
in at 5. And I said, yeah, same. And he said, cool, see you at 7. Rude. I'm always late for everything. I just try to fit too
Oh,
much
okay.
into the day. It's just the
Well, if
cross
he's
that
not-
I
if he's-
bear.
If he's not going to arrive at the hotel until 4:30,
Matt.
that means you can probably take the kids to school and then have a leisurely breakfast and then hop in the car and go.
Oh,
Holidays, isn't it?
Oh, they're on holidays, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
So we can
Yeah.
say goodbye to the kids. Oh, here we go. Who is this? Dusty Bricks on YouTube. Tom would be good on Lego Masters because he does a year worth of building in the last 6 hours before the convention.
Yes.
Exactly. Build's under pressure. It's the only time you
That's good
build.
to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
the only time I build. Yep.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah.
dusting
Definitely
everything off
works
this
well
week.
under pressure.
Yeah, the
Mm.
diamonds are made under pressure argument.
That's it.
No,
I'm a diamond. That's what I am.
no.
He's a diamond.
So I desperately didn't want that to happen. That burned me out hard before Brickvention. It was just 3 weeks of doing nothing but Lego. Lego wasn't fun anymore. It was a job. Until I made that Joker banner with the ha 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 coming out of the manor. And then I was like, oh, it's fun again. This is awesome. But I was like, I'm not going to do this again. So I got home from Brickvention. I unpacked it that night and I started.
Jesus.
And so the first thing Toddy had suggested was we all expand a bit, so it was all a bit wider. So I started expanding my water. I got the plates in. I expanded it all. I laid down the blue tiles. It was just not better. So I looked at it for a long time, and then today put it all back. The day
really?
before I had to go to
Today.
Brickvention.
Today.
Yeah, today.
The day before.
The day
Okay.
before. So I don't know what I'm saying.
That's
like it looks really good now. That's all.
There you go.
So Lewis is off. Oh, Helena's coming to Bendigo with me. How many mosaics are you
I'm not
bringing?
going with you.
No, you're not
Well,
getting
you're
going on
going to
my
be
own
there
thing.
at the same time as me.
Yeah.
We'll wave from across the shed.
I'll see you at
I'll
7.
make sure I don't talk to you
Um,
or stand near you.
Yeah. What was the question? Mosaics. So
How
yeah,
many
on that,
packing in the flight?
don't know. I'm gonna try and so I put a post on the exhibitor group on Facebook today saying asking for a friend. Anyone have any suggestions on how to pack mosaics to travel on a plane? Got a few interesting suggestions, but I think the one that I've found that was actually the most useful was just put them in a Lego bag and walk with them onto the plane.
Oh yeah.
So I was like, actually, that could work. So don't know.
How many are you
How many
taking?
I don't know. Look, when I got back from Brickbench, I got the box. I took Jen's ones out. It took like 3 weeks for Jen and I to finally find a time to actually meet up so I could give them back to her. and then mine have just sat in the box with the lid on them ever since. So yeah, I actually can't even remember how many I've got, to be completely honest. But
Will they fit in a Lego bag?
actually, where are they? I don't even know where they
You gotta
are
find them
right
before-
now.
What time's the flight?
That's in the morning. She'll be right.
Mhm. then-
Yeah. So
Lewis is driving off to Illawarra.
Yes.
Oh, Kev's
So
just
from
said,
where-
Tom, can you come up to Queensland and pick me up? I'll be there in the morning.
Yeah, Illawarra from Canberra is only 3 hours, just under. So
Oh, that's cool.
not
a lot
not
nicer.
even.
Yeah, a lot nicer than the 7+ hours it takes to do
Yeah.
Melbourne or Bendigo, which I normally
Jesus.
do. Like, as everyone knows, I normally work on Friday and then halfway through the day drive down, and then I drive back all the way Sunday night to go back to work on Monday. So the 7 hours is pretty brutal. So I'm glad that it's just 3 this time. Can
That's
actually
good. Yeah,
have
that's
some
nothing.
rest.
Yeah, good.
Is Dave coming? Dave's coming up to Illawarra, is he?
I mean, I guess. I don't know.
So
Sometimes
he's
I don't
not
know what
stopping
he's
your
doing
place on the
until,
way?
like, if he rocks up, he rocks up. If he doesn't rock up, it's fine. I actually don't know. I think so. But
He's meant to be going to Illawarra.
yeah, I haven't heard anything in the last few days. So
There's a
don't
lot of
know.
rock stars going to Illawarra.
I mean, it's a good split between the two. I don't think any
Yeah.
of the conventions are getting particularly shortchanged based on who's going. I think it's working out quite well, the split. I mean, ideally we'd have everyone at both, but until that gets worked out amongst the organisers, it's going to be.
Although I will say, Peebles did say that you and Dave are both dead to him now because you're not going to Bendigo, Lewis. So
Yeah, right.
I
We'll just see you at Illawarra next year, Lewis.
guess Graham will look after you.
So we're now 20 minutes in and we haven't talked about the topic. We were saying before, Lewis, that we're pretty sure David suggested this last week and he must
I
have
think we
known
both
somehow
did it
what was going to
about the
happen on
same
Lego
time.
Masters last night.
I
Was
think
it?
it ended up just working out really well. Because like this is sort of how what most of what I build falls under is this.
Yeah.
And then, yes, with that challenge.
Thank
that
God
we
you're
were working
here.
on. Yes.
Yeah.
I think that's why we decided
Thank
on
you,
it,
Lewis.
what he did, on the show, which a lot of good builds came out of that.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, replicating.
But
it
your
live-
real life items, I mean,
Yes.
they don't really exist in the real world
No.
a lot of the time.
No, most of them are props or
Indeed.
as close to it as you can get. But I would say, yeah, the vast majority these days of what I'm building are life-size replicas of things from pop culture. So be that, I mean, a lot of it's been helmets, busts, weapons, and artifacts, really.
Yeah.
And as you might have just seen, Tom has just joined the Bricker crew as our
Very
latest
cool.
Australian designer with some life-sized objects of his own, which you can
Don't
see
you
in the
know
background
who I
behind you.
am?
Wow.
Yeah, so the ones that we worked on with Tom, they're slightly different from the ones he's got there, mostly because the ones there are beautiful, but they are quite large. So we had to try and, I think most of them are scaled down about 20%. Like it's not huge, but just enough, like scaling it down 20%, cut the piece count in about half. So it ended up working out reasonably well overall.
Yeah,
So
because I think you worked out that the bow staff, if you were to buy everything off Bricklink, was going to be $300 or something like that.
Yeah, it was absurd.
Insane.
Yeah,
Insane.
to build the stuff as you had it built. Yeah, it was going to be a bit of a challenge because that comes into a bit of a cross between life-size building and then building for product release. We've all done our mocks and gone as hard as we can and used as many pieces as we need. We don't think about the cost, but as you've seen, when we're translating those builds to something that people can afford to make themselves, there's a few more considerations we have to look into. But I think what we've come up with is pretty good.
Oh, they're wicked. They're so good. I kind of want a set of these and a set of those as well.
But just the slightly small ones. You can have the ones that are like your beautiful display, and then the ones that just the public, like they can do what they want with them. Just like smash and crash.
These are the prototypes. What have we
Well,
done?
quite a few people on the Bricker Builds Discord were even talking about your sign, your TMNT sign.
Oh, yeah, I noticed that too.
Mm.
That's not hard to build, is it?
No, but I mean, look, people love it.
Yeah, right. Oh, maybe I'll make a bigger one. And then we'll have to shrink it for Bricker.
No,
I've got to say, though, I was thinking about it because when David said, an hour or so ago that he wasn't going to come on, I was like, ugh, now I'm going to have to talk more about how to do real life items. I expected him to do a lot of talking. And I was thinking, what the hell am I going to talk about? You were saying, like, shrinking them. I reckon scale is the most important thing when you're trying to make something feel life-sized and real.
Yes.
Like, that was the thing that I spent the most time, like, I know that they're made up Ninja Turtle swords, but I was Googling the size of katanas and then the range and then trying to work out where in that range, because there's never an exact size, where in that range a mutant turtle flipper would fall in, like in the scale of katana.
Like, Okay. Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, that's it. And there's
Well,
a couple
they're
of
all a
different
bit
ways of
big for
going
my
about it.
hand. All of them
Like-
are a bit big for my hand because
I
I
remember
figure
one
the
of them you
turtle
looked-
hands would be bigger than mine.
There was the sai. It's like the general rule of thumb for a sai is that when you hold it, the blade is the length of your forearm.
Mm.
Right? Like that. That is
Oh.
the length. So there's not a specific length, but there's a principle
Oh.
to apply. So I believe when Tom holds this up, it's the length of his forearm.
Right,
Oh,
Oh,
Six
so like
minutes.
for me, probably
Nailed
be
it.
Yours
For
would
me,
be
it's
double the length.
yeah, because I'm a giant.
You could just pick up Leo's swords.
Yeah, but no,
we
it's,
tried on the weekend.
yeah, it's an interesting thing thinking about the scale, like you said, because I think there's a couple of different ways you can go about it. And having a look at the builds last night, I mean, some things like blew me away in terms of how they conceptualized it. But I think when you're looking at the way to start, at least how I got started was not trying to think of the finished model, but start picking out aspects of it and finding parts, like the least amount of parts to do the
Mm.
most amount of details.
Yeah.
So like something I started on, of course, is the lightsaber series, and it was looking at different parts and going, what one piece exists that closely matches that element?
Yeah.
And as opposed to thinking of the finished model,
Yeah.
just
makes
sectioning
sense.
off
Mm.
different parts based on matching. And once you've got that basis, one, that can help define your scale. Because
Mm.
some things like most of my general hilts are slightly under scale because they go to the four stud wide core. Versus the bladed ones are all like exact to prop replica because they're not constrained to that building style.
Hmm.
And so it can come down to finding pieces. So as opposed to you might go, oh, it's slightly under scale, but I can use one wheel to match this dial rather than
Oh, yeah, I
building
get
it
you.
out of 40 pieces.
It's like
Sure.
the I'll just another quick talking about the show, but not giving away anything. The episode from a couple of nights ago with Ryan and Gabby's build of that tree.
Hmm.
I just wanted to look at that more closely, and I felt like they weren't showing us enough. But they had some amazing part usage in that. Did you see
Yeah.
it? Have any of you seen
Mhm.
it?
There's a lot of stuff that
Far out.
You wonder why
I
they
feel
don't
like
spend
I'm
more
showing you
time
as much of
focusing
it. I want to see
Mm.
more.
Mm.
Yeah. I feel like they're
I
going
thought
over
that-
builds really quickly. Or
Well,
maybe it's
they
just
post
me.
photos of them later on, don't they?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I've been
post
checking out
photos
the
and
tree. It's
close-ups.
amazing.
Yeah.
That
I
was
I
love
just
it.
like a video better than a photo. I don't know why.
Yeah, the videos are nice. You need to get your style of Brickvention. You need to go walk around the showroom floor.
Yeah.
Let's get Geordie walking around with his
Yeah.
phone.
Yeah, exactly. I
Watch
think
it
that'd
this
work out
weekend
really,
again
really
and see if I
well.
can pick up any more because I really want to watch it
Yeah.
again. It's just like I got to watch it again.
That's
Yeah,
it.
Who's
I
going to do the
definitely-
walk around to Illawarra then?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I know. Maybe I'll have to take it on. We'll see.
There you
how it
Yeah,
go.
do it. I'll watch it.
Lewis.
But
Watch it
I'll
back.
wear a nice cap so it covers the hair, and I'll be like, I'm Tom. Here's my Ninja Turtle shirt. Take it over for him because he's not here. Try and match it.
Don't
You
forget,
sound
make,
very handsome already.
make sure you don't do it at the same time. Don't do
Yeah,
your
you'll have
live
to
stream at the
coordinate
same
your
time.
times.
Yeah, so we can watch both of them, us poor people who are at home. Can't get away.
Poor people. Well, you can watch it back, I guess.
You tend to do
I
yours
usually
quite
do
early.
mine
I like watching
half
it
an hour
live.
before opening. I think we open at 10.
Yeah,
Ah, yeah.
Is that right, Helena?
I think so. I don't know.
So-
Jeez.
Yeah, I think
mean,
we
I
open at
think
10. Well, you've got the world at your fingertips, don't you?
Yeah, well, I've got my 260 meg download internet here.
golly.
Mm. I can
That's
have
like
two
triple
tabs
figures.
open at the one time.
Not
One
me.
thing I wanted to
I'm
mention
a
with our
one-tab
topic-
guy.
We mentioned it last week, but I just want to mention it now in case we bring it up again for people to look into while we're chatting. If you haven't looked at it before, Google Sariel's brick converter.
Let me write it
Um,
down.
SARIEL.
Yes.
What that unit converter does is you can put in any unit of measurement and it spits out. It's like any kind of converter from feet to inches, yada yada, but it spits it out in Lego measurements as well.
Yes.
And while it doesn't do everything overall, like I know Rowan last week was talking about how he's got a program you can put a model in, size one thing, and it does everything. This is for really quick and sharp measurements of knowing how big something needs to be. So an
Yeah.
example of where I used this yesterday, I made a build which Tom has seen. I should get a
Yeah,
preview
you
up.
did.
Is the Hobbit sword Sting. And I wanted to know how long to make that life sized. Looked it up. The prop is about 56 centimeters long. So I went into the Sariel unit converter, 56 centimeters, spat out 71 studs.
Yeah.
And that is how long it needed to be. that process was then I prefer to do it in Excel for some reason, because you can set the size to squares. Put an image of the blade in Excel, so I could then sort of count different sections
How
and
cool.
match how long it needs
Is
to
that
be.
program is it Serial Converter? Is that what
Serial's
it's called?
unit converter.
Unit
Yeah,
Converter.
it's really, really good. So
Sounds handy.
I'm trying to find here. It's got to show it on stream, so it's got to be really blurry. But what that lets me do is like, this is a picture of the sword. If I can, oh no, we can't really show it. Can I share something?
Yeah, I reckon you can.
Let me have a look.
I'm sure it'd be easier on a laptop, but sure.
Yeah, let me see if I can share it. Hey?
Let us see, because it may not let me. I'm just going to see whether or not I can do it. But essentially, when I put these two things side by side, you reckon it's going to change it, or it's going to look dodgy? There we go. Somewhat on my screen. Let's put it this way. Oh God, hang on. I'm going to do this for YouTube first. Oh, there we go. YouTube first, and then Instagram. So that is an overlay of the prop sword versus a Lego sword, and how that's able to line up all right is because I use the Excel calculator to get that right.
Yep.
And where it is for the gram as well.
for the gram.
The gram.
But it just means using something like that, as opposed to guessing and trialing different things, you know ahead of time how thick everything needs to be. And it works out really, really well.
Yeah.
And so that meant I was able to knock out, like, it's very early days. You can barely see it, but there's a Hobbit
Jeez, it looks
sword
good though,
that's
doesn't it?
ready to go.
Yeah, cool. That's interesting. Thank you.
It's, hard to see. The renders, I render everything, as Tom
Yeah.
knows.
Just looking at that though, everyone who's watching, unless they've caught everything you've said, that just looks like Sting. Hey, that was Lego. The last image was Lego.
Yeah, you can kind of tell by the serrated edge a little bit because there's only so much you can do. But then, like,
Yeah.
there's other ones where I didn't use a converter of measurement, but I instead went by a piece. And that's like, again, other previews and things coming down the line. If you're a Crash Bandicoot fan, you might be familiar with what these are.
Yeah. So good.
I'm trying to get it so you can see it on both screens. So these
Oh, you nailed
masks
it.
were all determined by, just in terms of this build, the leaf piece
Oh, sure.
for the
Yeah.
chin. That piece determined the entire scale of this build. So it's
Yeah.
like life scale, but I mean, there's no scale to these things. Like, it's approximately as tall as a human head, given that it's meant to be a mask.
Jeez.
But the one thing that set the scale is I picked one piece
Yeah.
and built the whole thing based off that.
Mm.
Yeah.
So it's just another
Because how
way-
can you scale to an orange talking bandicoot?
Exactly. And then, well, the second mask, the evil one, I just scaled that to the first one. You know,
Yeah,
like
sure.
I did the first one, scale
Yeah.
the second one
Yeah.
to match
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
So you don't necessarily, if you're building, like, we're talking real life, even sometimes you don't need to go exactly true to scale if you pick some major pieces to use as the foundation of what you're going for.
Yeah.
And that's a good way to
Yeah,
start if
absolutely.
you're lost as well.
Yeah.
Like, what a picture of his mum and dad. I mean,
Oh dear.
he's got a mighty beard on the other mask. That was what scared me the most on that build, is that this mask has this big beard. And I wasn't sure how to do it. It ended up just being a mash of plates that you just stick on at the end, and there you go.
That was it. That's all she wrote.
Well, sometimes
Right.
like, the hardest part with a lot of this stuff, I think, is getting started. Like, where do you begin?
Absolutely. And that's what stumped me with these ones actually.
Mm.
Like, how do I get that?
Mm.
Where it
I
cuts
remember
across
watching
without
you
it-
on those live streams when you were trying to build those, and you were
Just been
trying to
told
get that
there's an
stupid
echo. Does
curve.
anybody have two?
Yeah, I was trying to get this curve.
We've been told we have an echo. Are there two? Anyone got 2 bits of volume playing?
Yeah, I think it's
Not
Claire.
me.
We're just going to forgive her this week. This is the last time she's going to be forgiven, though.
Hey, they invited me. Just saying. Just putting it out there. They invited
Oh,
me.
there we go. Rowan's got a message saying that his blueprint app is by the same guy of the measurement app the measurement.
Oh,
tool I
yeah?
talked about.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Sorry,
Yeah.
same guy, which makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh, here we go. YouTube
Oh, he
has
also
no
says
echo.
that he's bringing.
Yeah, YouTube has no echo, so
Yeah,
everyone
jump
hop
on
over
YouTube.
into the YouTube.
The link's in my bio if you want to check out YouTube's. Rowan
Mhm.
says he's bringing his real life spinning top toy.
Not the toilet.
Okay.
You're not bringing the toilet, are you?
Oh,
He's
that
also
toilet's
bringing the
so
toilet.
fun.
I can't
That's
wait.
pretty
He's
cool.
bringing
Is he
crazy
really?
treats.
Those old,
Sorry,
like,
I just have
are they old?
I just have to keep playing fetch with my cat so she doesn't bite my leg.
Yeah,
So
I get
that's
it.
why I keep.
What are those pieces
ducking.
like ice skate rink pieces or the basketball court ones? Whichever ones he's
I reckon they're
used.
basketball court.
I think they
the
might,
big
yeah,
blue
I
ones?
couldn't remember what ones they came in blue,
Yeah.
unless that was
Let
basketball.
me see if I can find it. I'm going to bring the picture up
Lewis's,
on the
look at
old
Lewis's parts
YouTubes.
behind him. I want
I
to be
know.
in
I know,
Lewis's
it's
room.
Welcome to the wall.
I want to be in your room.
It's very.
And this is why we were
useful.
talking about Lewis so much in the how do you store your Lego?
How do you store it? It's
What can you
Organised
send me, Lewis?
chaos.
What can I buy off you? I reckon I could buy a few things off you.
whatever
there.
you want. I'm trying. I've been really whittling through it with my last few builds. So anytime I'm working on a build, I get the part list up, go to upload it into Bricklink, and it lets you check quantities.
Mm.
Yeah, I got a small handful of those.
Ooh, have you?
Yeah,
Do
they're
you
not in
have
the wall
any
though.
more? What about any more burps? You got any more burps?
Just those rocks. The other ones, not many more. I did an underwater display years ago, and I've got it disassembled somewhere. But no, I'm trying. Every time I order parts, I go through the Bricklink list before it imports and adjust the quantities based on what I've got in here. So I rip all that out. So I've chewed through for this Bo-Katan helmet almost all my blue bricks, and it's a bit funny. So to order really cheaply through Bricklink, I ordered one of my orders is from a store that have parts they label as like severely damaged, and they cost next to nothing. But it's great because the build I'm doing, the more damaged it looks, the
Oh,
better
yeah.
it is.
Yeah.
So I'm not
Yes.
mad. I'm like, I'm paying 0.001 cent for this part. Who cares?
Nice.
Fill it
Mm.
up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I do with my white. I wanted old white. I didn't want nice, fresh, clean white. So
Yeah.
that was good. I got some cheap stuff that was really old and damaged, and some of it was yellow looking.
Someone's asked us in the Instagram chat, are we nervous displaying our creations? I don't know if you've seen my setup. You can check it out on the Instagram to see it. I just kind of go fast and loose. Like, it's here. I'm risking it being in the public. If something goes
Call
wrong,
him
it
Loose
goes
Lewis.
wrong.
Just saying.
Yeah, fast and loose.
Oh,
Like, some
so-
people are really protective of their display. I was surprised at Brickvention that we had the helmet sitting jutting out of that board, and they didn't get knocked off. Like, I saw kids
Mhm.
brush them, like
Yeah.
brush past and hit them. But it's sort of like it's a risk reward scenario you take. I've seen some people at conventions get bollards, like the rope bollards, and put them in front of their builds a meter out so
Sam.
people can't do it. Which, look, my perspective on it is I think that defeats a bit of the purpose of the show. Like, but for something like Sam's, that's a however big tall crane. You don't need to.
And that's
be
a
able to-
safety issue.
I was going to say,
Right, like, there's a-
Sam's had
there's a
bollards
bit-
so
there's
that
a
it
bit of a
can
difference
like
with that.
kill
Some
small
might have
child. But
small knocks, but they still put bollards
Kill a
up because they're
child.
worried about a break-in. And I think my perspective on it would be, and I'm sure you guys might have it different. If you're going to a show, that is a risk you're going to take. And I'd say probably accept it, and if you can, plan for it. Like we've discussed, I think last week, if you can build something where you know where it's going to break, it makes your life a lot easier. Like you got something with big walls and you're worried about someone hitting it, put points in that wall that if someone hits it and it breaks, it's in an area that's easy to repair, rather than having something super. Like if I've dropped that Master Chief helmet once. That was like, well, this sucks. I've just got to put this back together. Like nothing you could do about it. But other things like a lot of the lightsaber handles, where they break, if they break, they very easily clip back together. It's not a terrible thing. But I guess, it depends on what you've got.
I know how to put your
Yeah,
lightsabers back together.
Me too, that's for sure.
The first show I did, I was super nervous because that's like the Lego doesn't even come out of the Lego room in my house. Like this was the first time it had left the house, even left the Lego room. And I was standing right next to it. Bill was in the table opposite me. I think it was his first show as well. So we were constantly watching each other's builds when we took breaks. So nervous. And then by the end of the weekend, I was just wandering anywhere. I didn't even care. By the next show, I don't think I even saw my build. I was just chatting to everyone. And there was one show towards the end of last year where they put bollards up in front of the lair. And I took them away. I just shoved them in the corner because I loved the way kids would get in and they'd be right in like, there's that thing at the back. And I was amazed their elbows weren't knocking anything. and then their parents would do it, and the elbows would just clean stuff up. But it's half the fun watching them lose themselves in the world that you created. It's not the same a meter back. I see Bills has said, here we go, that they use bollards at the Queensland show. Is it right at the Queensland show you can't do 360 as well?
Some. There's some that you can, but a lot of them you can't. They're up against the wall. So everyone's sort of up around a wall. But there are some in the middle that you can go all the way around, but majority, they can't get behind because most people are sitting behind them.
Yeah, I don't like sitting behind my table.
No.
Yeah, that's
Same. I'm like a set and forget. With mine, I'm just like drop them off and go wander and talk to them.
They went off wandering. Like there was lots of people I talked to that they said, "Oh, it's not my build, I'm a volunteer." Like there was lots of people I didn't meet that weren't at their builds, but it's just that most of it was sectioned off. Yeah.
Yeah. And as like Bills has said, it does depend on the show and what the vibe is. You know, like essentially, I think this thing we said at Prevention, like the way that we had our setup, if there was a catastrophic failure, we probably would have pulled a bunch of it down, like so that it wasn't a hazard. But that was more like, you know, that was probably one of the bigger risks we've taken on displaying, but it was for the grandiose purpose of what we were trying to do, which is to create something that was large and like we were going for a spectacle. That's what we were going for. And I can understand it. I mean, you're a part of it.
It's your brainchild, though.
We all have, it depends on what the vibe is you're trying to go for. Like, I go in with the expectation that something is going to break, if not everything. And when it doesn't, I'm like, thumbs up, we're happy kind of situation. Yeah. But I get it. If it's your baby and you don't want it to break, it is a bit harder to let that go. So it really is.
I've been going through the floor plan for Brick Built this afternoon, and I've been looking at so where people have requested that they want to sit with their builds, I've been making sure we've been allowing for that. But then other ones, you know, like I'd noticed that where they'd put Tom and Yabs for their 2/3 of Batman's Vacation, it wasn't somewhere where you could walk all the way around it. So I've just been sort of, I know, right? So I've just been picking apart and just moving things around for that, and like making sure that is it Anita with the wings, the big wings? So she's coming up to Sydney, so that'll be the first time they've been in Sydney. So I'm making sure they've got a nice spot with a good space around them so people can take photos and stuff, and nice. Same with your stuff, with your armory, you two, so that you know, there's space for people to actually interact with it and that. So
it's beautiful.
I think that's also why people might have killed Dave and I, is that we were a pain in his ass with that. Great. I think he gets annoyed.
I'm like, Lewis doesn't need tables. He just needs a wall. Let's pick him up from here, move him
down
here.
I lean stuff against it. I'm a happy boy.
Someone pick him up here, move him down.
Expensive minifigs on your display. Being careful about that. That's a really interesting one, because I know both Tom and myself have displays that are very open with rare minifigs just there. I don't know. Have you ever worried about something being taken?
Oh, I do tend to tuck the rarer minifigs further into the build, so that if they were they'd have to be real brave to try and grab it. You know what I mean? But I'm not going to keep a mini. Yes. To be honest, because it's such a niche, like I'm talking about the lair, really. I haven't really thought about Batman's Vacation. I don't think there's anything valuable on mine. Because it's such a niche, like the turtle lair, people don't realize which minifigs are rare and do go for a bit. So I haven't been too worried. It's the really obvious ones, like everyone's after a goat, so don't put a goat on there, kind of thing.
Yeah.
I knew it. I think it was the Canberra show. Someone lost a Deadpool.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I think I heard about it because they were looking to buy a replacement from whoever had one because they lost a Deadpool. I've never lost a figure, and because I've got all the Iron Man figures on display most of the time, and some of those aren't necessarily super expensive, but they are hard to find. I guess, you know, my attitude is, as well as I do mine are normally had been in the past tucked into a point where you would have to be reaching in to get it. The last version, it was a bit more open. But I guess like it's again a risky run. Like if it's you want to show it off, but you don't want it stolen, you really have three options. One, you don't leave your table, so you manage it, which people do, totally fine, but you do lose a bit of that social element with that.
Mm.
But I think two, you just take it with you whenever you're not there,
You go.
which some people do as
Yeah.
well.
Yeah, sure.
So if you're not there,
Yeah.
figure's not there. Third one is to ingrain it in your build in such a way it can't be stolen, like
Yeah.
behind different panels and stuff. So it's on display, but it's built in that people can't get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like it is a really tough one because you're right. Like unfortunately, we are in a hobby where most people are friendly, but like anything, there's opportunists who will.
Oh yeah.
Of course.
Have that chance.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, right up here, Bill Bogan on YouTube has said, I got caught stealing purple Catwoman at BV. Yes, he did. He got caught by me. And I don't think he expected me to be so curt about it. I think he thought he was having a bit of fun. And I'm sure he was having a bit of fun. And I'm sure he was going to give it back. But how do we feel about like, so let's say you've got a valuable, expensive, rare item and your mates know that and they just go and grab it just to make you sweat for a bit. How do we all feel about that?
Ooh, I don't know. It depends on the time of day.
Yeah,
Depends on the
It's just
earlier
best
mood.
thing on Sunday morning.
Didn't
You know,
didn't that happen? No, that's happened something with something happened like that with Damo and his church
Oh, really?
at Brickvention as well. Yeah.
That was a
Something
nice
happened
church.
in relation to that as well.
Bill, was that you again?
yeah, Bill. That was a lovely build, that church. So that was a really
Yeah,
nice
that's
build.
cool.
Mm,
It's
Yeah.
so
yeah, it was
beautiful.
lovely.
Looking down the aisle at the stained glass windows, it was so nice.
Yeah,
Mm.
it makes it great. Makes it great.
Mm.
Oh, here. Chimera Bricks on Instagram said someone took Golem at Brickvention.
Oh, that's
There's a lot of people going through that.
I must have lost the chat on Instagram. I've never lost a chat ever on Instagram, so that's bizarre.
if you're
Oh,
like
shots
Wi-Fi
fired from Rebecca on
refreshes,
Instagram. I'll keep calling them out. Unless you want to leave and come back again.
No.
Rebecca's
Gonna
just
leave
said
them and
a
come
friend
back.
wouldn't do that. Bill.
Mm.
Bill.
Bill.
Rebecca said a friend wouldn't do that. What's his
A,
name?
fri- a
Troy.
friend would put a hilarious minifigure onto your build. wouldn't
That's
they,
what I was
Rebecca?
just going to
Yeah.
say. Yeah, I saw that happen. that
That
was
happened.
funny.
that happens
Was
a
it,
lot.
there was who was it? Sarah at Codinia Ricks. Was it Codinia? Was putting sheep on everyone's builds, taking some
Oh, okay,
photos, or waiting till you spotted it. Wasn't moving anything. Like that's fine. It's not
Yeah.
like
That's cool.
she's taken all the Ninja Turtle action figures and made them do lewd actions with each other. Like
Well, I would have done that
happens
too,
here.
but that's fun. I
Yeah, that's
fun
what we do when
thinking.
everyone's
it
gone
fun?
for the evening. You're just there like,
Yeah,
I should
is
have
it
done
fun,
that. That
or
would
is
be a
there
great
kids still
idea.
walking around
That's really
and
talky.
Well,
you're
look,
trying to work
at-
out where your creations have gone for a second there?
Look, and at the evening event at Canberra, we may have put some naughty words on Amanda's Scrabble board. But
yeah.
that was in the evening event, and she fixed it up before the
After a few
morning, so
pins.
That
no
was-
children were harmed, and that was mostly
goats.
Sam. I'll put that out right now.
Oh,
It
God.
I think it was mostly Sam and Lewis, actually, but yeah.
I don't remember, but it sounds like something.
And then we did because you weren't there, Tom, but of course you have to win every trophy at every event. So we did actually borrow a turtle figure from another build
That's right, we
to
did.
make you a trophy saying best in show.
Yes.
So we borrowed some pieces from some other people's builds, but we asked first.
That's
So.
fine.
So anyone
that's
who
different.
doesn't
If you
know
ask.
you, they got real weird about it. I think at the start, like, why do you want this? Like,
Yeah.
didn't understand. did not understand.
What are you doing?
No,
with
it was
Well,
Amanda's mum who was watching her
That's awesome.
build her table, and she's like, "What are you doing? Why are you touching this?" And we're like, "It's okay, it's all right." Amanda said we could. She's like, she was very protective of it. So
As well, she should.
yeah,
No, that's it.
Oh, Bill was
I mean,
going to
look-
swap a zombie for Catwoman. Does that make it better?
It's one thing I'd put on like when you're exhibiting at the shows as well. I think it's really, it sounds dumb, but it's really important to be there and to have fun.
Mm.
Mm.
You know, I think if you're there the whole time just shadowing your build, there's a lot you can miss out on. Be it just
Definitely.
not just the other Lego builds there, but I think what a reason a lot of us go is to chat with other people and
Definitely.
have that social element. So I think it's a balance between the two. So if you are concerned about something breaking or a rare minifigure, like look into steps of either putting them behind panels so they can't be taken, or even just, like we said, take them with you if you're walking around. But I think I think to get the most out of one of these events, you need to step away from where you are and see what's out there and go for a walk and chat to people, like not just chatting to people who are at your build, but one thing I like to do is I hover around our space, and when you see people looking and chatting, you just kind of nudge into the conversation. If they're there, they're like, you hear them ask you a question, they're like, "Oh, I'm not sure about this," and you can like chime in and answer it, and then have a nice conversation with the people at the event, because we're all there to have fun, but so are all the people who are coming to the show. And I just think, just keep that in mind. You can miss a lot of the fun if you're just stuck behind where you are.
Yeah.
But if that's what you want to do, it's all power to you. It's more a suggestion.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally agree. I do find, well, I did find early on when people were looking at the lair, like this is my early shows and I was standing next to the build. If I started talking to them, they'd just be like, "Oh, did you build this? Cool build, man." And they'd walk away. And I think it was because of their kids had just had their arms in it and they were way too close kind of thing. And so they were like, "Oh, sorry, we were so close to the build. Let's move on, kids."
Get out of here.
Yeah.
Grab that Catwoman.
I like I said, with my mosaics, I just pretty much set and forget. But if I do see people, if I go back to the table to grab my drink or
she's dropped out.
We lost you on YouTube.
Yeah, we've lost you on YouTube, Helena. Oh, she's coming back.
Oh dear.
Here we go. You were saying set and forget.
Yeah, set and forget. So that if there's people there looking at them, like if there's kids there, I'll ask them, what's their favorite, which one's their favorite spaceman, or what. And there's actually a lot of women will ask me, "Oh, did you build these?" I'm like, yeah, I did. So which is good. Yeah. So
yeah, nice. I do like with the turtles in particular that I do enjoy the parents dragging the kids over to the turtles. Like, these are Ninja Turtles. These are cool. Yeah. Pay attention. Yeah. This is
cool. You will like this.
Over.
Yeah, because they've never seen it. And they're like, I don't know why. What are these?
They're like, "Oh, cool. Cool, Dad. Can we go look at Harry Potter now?"
No, you're excited, Tom. There's a new movie. I saw the trailer for it. Mario.
So stoked.
Looks fun.
It's so the turtles are very young in it, which I'm okay with because that's a bit of longevity. And the only thing, like, I'm all about it. Sign me up, because it's very Into the Spider-Verse looking. Like the cartoon style is very Into the Spider-Verse. That's my favorite Spider-Man movie. I love it. So I'm ready to go. Let's see the turtles. But geez, Donatello's voice is like a chipmunk.
Oh no!
It's so high pitched, and it's the kid's voice. He's young, but it annoyed me I'm sure I'll get used to it. I'm sure I'll get used to it. But Chipmunk Donatello was a bit jarring.
I read somewhere once someone had a very interesting perspective on like remakes and sequels and things. They're like, and it's not to discredit your experience, say, with Donatello's voice. They say for some kids, especially, this is going to be their first time ever experiencing these characters. And so sometimes you got to take the lens back of, I've seen everything before, which I think you've said there, you're like, I'll get used to it. Because you're used to one thing, you've seen the cartoons, you've seen other movies. When the new thing comes along, it can be a bit like, it's not what I'm used to. I'm not sure that I like it. But if you have the perspective, even with a lot of things in general, that this is some kids' first time looking at this, I think it can make things more enjoyable as well.
Oh, definitely. And so, like, I've been with the Turtles since the 80s, right? And I've sat and watched every version as it's been released. They've been reinvented maybe 5 or 6 times. Yeah. And every time I've been up for it. Like, let's get in, let's strap in, because the next generation is going to learn who the Turtles are. Except for it was maybe 5 years ago, Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They made everyone different. Raphael was the leader. Leonardo was just goofing off. It wasn't the turtle personalities. So I didn't like it because that generation was going to miss out on learning the turtles. They were going to learn this other thing that had shells on. So that one I wasn't a fan of. But
but I guess they completely changed the core of the characters.
Yeah, they have. It's like they took all of their attributes, threw them up in the air, and then got a focus group of 6-year-olds to go, who should have this one? Who should have this one? And so
the red one should be the leader, like every.
He's big. I like him. Everyone's going to listen to him.
That's interesting.
Yeah. But enough about turtles.
Let's talk about turtles.
No, we sounded great because we were working on this Ninja Turtle project for Bricker long before this was even announced. So it ended up being a really good timing.
I know.
Because I mean, we've worked on these in like October, November last year that we put these together. Sometimes we do some projects that don't see the light of day for months on end. Like this Deadpool head. When is this
like Deadpool
out?
Yeah.
I finished it 3 months ago. It's built. It's done. I'm just waiting for it to go. I'm really excited to take it to Illawarra, actually. But that's another one of like life-size builds. I think that might be my favorite. And I didn't realize until I picked up the Iron Man helmet how little is in it. Like it weighs nothing. It's so light. I mean, to be fair, it's half the parts of Spider-Man. Like I went lean with that build.
Is that just because you've refined the way that you build now, or like?
Yeah, what I've tried to do, especially with Deadpool, because he's not super round on the top of the head, almost every part that's red is just basic brick. So a lot of the other ones had more plates added in and everything. No, he was just as much basic brick as possible. And yeah, I think you get better for time. Like that was like I was working on Sting. My first draft was 250 pieces. My second draft, which was much better, was 300 pieces. I'm then able to revise that second draft, and it's now less than the first. So like started at 1, got higher, and then it looks identical, but the piece counts lower just by changing ways of approaching. But that just happens with time.
Cool.
Yeah.
Like I think I was looking at the Darksaber the other day, and like I still really like it, but I'm like I could
love that Darksaber.
I could probably strip 100 parts out of it if I try.
I love that Darksaber. That's why I keep looking over there, because I've mounted it on a shelf on my wall. I actually sorted out my life and got some shelving and put some things up, and that Darksaber is like pride of place on my wall in my lounge room. And the cat just bit my leg. But yeah, Darksaber has pride of place on my wall in my lounge room, and it's just I can't stop looking at it. I bloody love it.
That's the highest compliment that I can get. Genuinely, that's fantastic. Yeah. I think if I was to do it again for the blade section, I think I'd use a lot more of the minifig stands that are 3x4. To make it a little less flexy in a few things. But like you learn so much by doing these projects. And I think building real life, which is our topic tonight, what I think it's taught me a lot is like efficiency. Because as opposed to building small scale, you can build fantastic little things with 50, 100 parts. When you're looking at building bigger pieces and you start getting into the realm of thousands of parts, there's a different level of builder's thought that goes into it beyond just making it look good. Because there is like the reality of cost and weight and things just start falling apart when they get too big. So I think it's a good exercise to try. Like I love that they did that in the Lego Masters show of going, here is an object, replicate it. Like if I was on the show, I'd love that. Like that's exactly the kind of thing I want to be doing. Is that exact?
Well, they did. Was that? I'm trying to think. Previous seasons, there was like a chance to get back into the show where you had to replicate stuff. Was there? And someone did a Game Boy and someone did a camera. I think.
Yeah, they did the camera and the Game Boy, or the the little.
Yeah. Was that done by Nick, the guy who's done the recent Game Boy from Lego Masters?
No, that's a different season.
It's a different season. I wasn't sure.
I just had to.
That wasn't them that you did that to get back on. That was Stani. Stani got
Right.
a chance to get back on, and he didn't get on. That was very weird. But the two girls got on doing the camera, the instant camera, which editing, but yeah, it was bizarre because Stani and his partner, the Game Boy, was just brilliant.
That's a fun one.
Yeah.
You see a lot of people try and make life-size Game Boys, and there's a lot of really good ones out there.
Mm.
Like that's a great challenge, I think, if you're looking to dabble, like if you like Nintendo, like the Nintendo system, and you're looking to dabble in life-size things. I think a Game Boy is a great place to start because, I mean, sometimes I think it's daunting if a lot of people have done it before.
Yeah,
but it's
Definitely.
great to find.
And you're trying
your own
not to look up their versions.
Oh, and I mean,
Yeah.
look, I'm guilty. I do it to start. Like this Hobbit Sword Sting, the first thing I did was go, what's out there? And I've deliberately designed this one to not look like anything that exists.
Yeah, sure.
And even the way, like, it's got the blade swirling pattern. Most people don't do it. Those who normally do it ingrain it within the blade as a colored pattern. And I've gone, I'm going to use flex tubes. No one's
Yeah.
tried this to make it like perfectly curved.
Yeah, no.
Like, I think it could be a good way of looking at it and going, what is lacking to you, or what can you try differently? Because as we know with Lego, that's the beautiful part about it. You could 3 people, 10, 100 people can build the same thing and build it in so many different styles.
yeah.
Definitely.
I had to move
Yeah,
the cat, so I took the opportunity to go and get my favorite.
Yes. So you were saying you're going to take Deadpool to Illawarra.
Yeah, he's done.
Is there any issue, like, because it hasn't been Bricker released or anything like that? Do you?
I think, like, normally it's, I mean, I'd say, like, should I ask for permission more? Probably. But a lot of it is because, like, the general thing we have is if I just don't post it on social media myself.
Okay.
Mm.
So it's sort of like they don't mind a soft reveal. One, because, like, most of their market is the US based anyway. So if some people see it, and I think it's like if some people catch a glimpse of it, it works well for a teaser more than anything. And I think so. It's a bit of that. Like it's a bit of both. So like if I've got it there at a show, they're like, well, most people here aren't the main people they're looking for. But I think it's a good way to get like a soft test of it out there. So like the bladed lightsabers, the first time we took them out, we're actively handing them to people to figure out where they were breaking. And there were a few little points that they had weak, which we then revised. So the final ones didn't have the issues. So you can use it as a learning opportunity to see whether or not they're going to work as well as you hope.
Free focus groups and crash test dummies.
More or less,
That vibranium necklace, the first time you had it out like on display anywhere was at Canberra.
I think that was the first day that it came out.
Yeah, and then I stopped talking to you mid-sentence, got my phone out and ordered it because I was like, this is amazing. And I'm like, all right, carry on. So
give me a good focus. Which I mean, it's always the most flattering thing. Something like that. You know, we always appreciate it. I mean, it's one of the things I like doing as part of the team. And now Tom trying something as well is making something that other people want to build. Like that always feels like an honor to do that. Because it's about as close to working on sets as you can get without being a part of the big company, I guess.
I reckon though, I don't know, being part of like being a Lego designer would be very different to a Bricker designer.
Yeah, it's probably, I mean, more R&D. I know like in the Bricker team, the release guy, James, he appreciates that I build everything that I make. So a lot of the times I go like, here's my digital design. I build it and go, nah, this didn't work. And I fix it. And then it's good to go. It's quite rare that I do a full digital and don't make before they do. Like sometimes it's like he built Deadpool before I did because his parts arrived first. So he added a little button on the back that pops out the eyepieces that you can swap, which I mean, he did really, really well. But it was one thing I'm like, until I build it physically, I don't think I'm going to know how to make this work. But in most cases, I try and build them first because it makes all the difference. Or the rainbow build, like I had that Riddler trophy on with you the other week, where you rainbow sketch it and go, all right, it actually holds together. The digital one's fine.
See, I don't have the digital skills that you do, so everything is a rainbow build, and then which of these bricks do I have in the right color and which do I need to order? And that's what I tell
Oh,
all the kids, because the mums come up, and particularly with the weapons, the mums come up with the kids, and the kids, they're like, ask him. So the kids have obviously been talking to the mum, like, how do you even start building? There's no studs there. What do you mean? It doesn't even look like Lego. And it's always the same question. How do you build that? Where do you start? And I always tell them, like, I just grab whatever I've got in whatever color. It's the right shape. I just roll with it. And they seem to really like that's an accessible answer to them. They've got stuff in random colors. Like when you're a kid, you don't care what color things are. You're just building stuff. Hey,
Yeah.
they can identify with that answer.
The rainbow sketch builds are so useful. And sometimes they've got a bit of charm to them. Like I quite like when even Toddy did that big Hulkbuster
That
in Rainbow.
Hulkbuster, the Color Buster. Yeah.
It's one of the projects I probably wouldn't do because I've got the set nowadays, but I wanted to do back in the day. People would do a color random of the original Millennium Falcon, the big one.
Yeah.
Like that was a project
sure.
people would undertake.
Yeah, the junk falcon.
Yeah, the junk falcon.
Yeah, that was cool.
Great idea. I think I saw it might have been on the Lego subreddit a few weeks ago, but someone built their house. And it was like American house, so it's quite large. But the whole thing just rainbow, but looked like beautifully to scale. Model, but an absolute rainbow. And they absolutely loved it because it's something that they could build with their kids, not have to worry about the color and aesthetic, but the form is there.
Yeah.
And you really do, though. You do worry about the color patterns, even if it's a rainbow one. You're considering which colors are going next to each other. If it's too random, it's just a mess.
I remember that's what Toddy was saying when he was building his Hulkbuster. He was trying to deliberately find different colored parts because I don't want it to look too uniform in this area.
Don't want a big blue patch there.
Yeah, the amount of effort that goes into making it random.
Yeah.
Just the way
Yabsy's guts, the guts of Yabsy's builds are just exquisite because it's all the colorful bricks he didn't need, but he's just made them. He's just got that eye, the photographer's eye. He just makes it so pretty.
Was that when he was doing those containers, the shipping containers, and then he showed you the inside and just the garbled mess of parts. But the outside looks beautiful. He's using slopes and other things just to get the flat edge on the outside.
That's it.
Looks like an absolute monster on the inside, but the outside looks beautiful.
Monster.
He's very good at doing that. Very good at doing that.
Yeah. Now, it's been an hour.
Oh.
That is our cutoff.
Oh.
Half of us have a big trip tomorrow. 2/3 of it. No, half of us have a big trip. I don't have a big trip tomorrow. Oh, Lewis is quite small as well.
Lewis is quite small, and so is Helena. She's flying, so that'll be
I've got to
a
drive to the airport.
The flight's a big trip.
Oh.
What time are you landing?
I don't know. Lunchtime-ish.
Oh, okay. Right.
It's in my corner. So
I didn't know you could fly directly into Bendigo. There you go.
neither did I until
You can now.
the other day.
A new airline opened up that does regional.
No, it's just Qantas.
I just heard, but just recently I heard that someone has
Okay.
reopened. Starts with a B or something. But,
How long's the flight, Helena, from you?
Couple hours.
Oh, yeah.
I think it's one of those planes where you've got to stick your arms out the window and flap.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
stand upright because there's no seats. So you're cramming in like sardines, like the old Tiger planes.
Yeah, one of those.
All right.
Sounds fun.
I'm cutting us off, but next week's theme. Next week's theme is going to be what the show, like a recap of the shows.
There you go.
I've decided.
All right.
Show recap, love it.
Show recap.
Recap week. So Claire can hear all about it. And maybe I'll try to get this screen share
Lewis,
thing
don't
going.
forget to tee up with Tom when you're doing your live. You're all right? Let us know.
Yeah, Sunday morning lives. Yep.
Or just let me know so I know when to be watching.
Just
To
Claire.
watch. And make sure you
also
tell.
saying
Make
that
sure. I saw Brick and Brood sign on before, so make sure you let Andrew know so he can post about it, so everyone around the world can watch.
Yeah.
All right.
'Cause I've
What
been
Lewis was saying
telling
before
you
about the social aspect of shows. I try not to post what time I'm going to do the live because I might be chatting to someone and it'll be late.
No, well, just tell me. Tell me 10 minutes before you do it.
But then I'll tell you, I was like, I'm going on in 10 minutes. And then I'll start a conversation with
Oh,
someone.
that's okay. But at least
and
I'll have you in my ears
Sorry.
and I'll be ready. And I'm not going to sit there waiting for you. I'll just be ready, you know?
Yeah, look,
I'll be
I am. Dave and I are notorious for being late to convention days.
You are notorious.
Unless we travel separately, and then I end up on time. I'm not
I was
blaming
going to
him.
say,
Dave is notorious.
Dave
I'm not
and
blaming him, but I
Dave,
think when I'm
mostly
around
Dave.
him, I just get
Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm not saying it's his
Yeah.
fault. I just think I'm worse.
Poor Dave. He's not here to
Not
defend
saying it's his
himself,
fault,
Lewis.
but I'm only late.
Oh
when
no,
I'm
I'm
with him,
100% the problem, but I'm going with Loz this time, so at least like
Yeah.
she's going to be doing uni throughout the show because turns out doing university at a Lego show is really useful. Like it's like nice white noise in the background.
Oh, yeah,
Yes.
okay.
Just
Sorry
study.
about that.
So she's going to be doing some study. So I know I might be accountable to be up on time.
Yeah. Oh, good.
Mm.
Good pick,
Keep
good
it
go.
alive.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, Bilza
Oh.
and Christian, for saying that we were doing have an amazing weekend. I hope you all
Yeah.
have an amazing weekend. I might see Helena from across the shed, but we're not standing next to each other or talking to
No,
each
I'm
other.
not going to talk to you. Go.
Otherwise, you'll swing that dark saber at me.
Heck yeah.
Crack yeah.
Have a nice weekend at home, Claire, or working, whatever you're doing.
I'm not working on the weekend. I'm Legoing. I got
Oh, no.
3 more base plates to do.
Love it.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, and Lewis, I fixed this bit. I know. I remember last time I showed you a picture. You said mine was on the wrong way, so I went back and pulled out the instructions and flipped it around the right way.
It's so bad that I can look from a distance.
Yeah.
And they're like, yeah, that's right. Like when you said that Fleur set up my thing at Canberra, she sent me a backwards picture, and I'm like, that. How do you know that?
Yeah.
I don't know. It's
Yeah.
just in there.
I just do.
Yeah.
I just look at it and I was like, nah, that's not right.
Now just got to work out how to light it up, and then it'll be good.
Yeah, it's a lot of white
Yeah.
bricks to replace, but you can give it a go.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent. All right, we went home.
Take care, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow if you're in Bendigo, and I wish you all
Drive
the best
safe.
if you're in
Fly
Illawarra.
safe.
Mm-hmm.
See you
I'm
later,
going to
everyone.
say goodbye, Instagram, and I'm going to say goodbye, YouTube.